back to the ETs themselves, and you've met these extraterrestrials face to face, right? I mean, you've had, can you talk? Because I heard you tell Linda, I think it was, that the shock and the fear that goes through you. But what was the circumstances behind you meeting your first face-to-face ET encounter?
Right. So basically what they're doing is they set up a lot of containers, which, in a certain underground location, you have these communication containers, which they provide a certain environment where through very strict protocols, you are able to communicate with these beings. And in my case, the majority of these events, these experiments, if you want to say so, were actually in communication with the Greys, which is like what we call an exotic life form, gray skin, about, I think, 1'5" in US terms. I hope. I'm not quite sure. I should look it up. But and also like interfrequential beings. So basically, these were the two operational models that were used. And yeah, totally. So because a lot of people have told me like they wish to meet an ET being, and they were very excited about that, and very euphoric, like, hey Tim, I'm ready for that. And the truth is, it's a very, very strong impact on your own psychology in order to meet something or someone like that, because the reality in that moment seems to break away for yourself, and also the frequencies. And again, I know you're aware of that. The frequencies of those beings that are so advanced and elevated, they irradiate a certain frequency. Basically, in the 90s, we found out that any organic stuff, any organic body is irradiating a certain frequency, which is well, you could imagine like the magnetic field of a being or something, but it's like its own signature, energetic signature. And and when meeting these beings, at least this is true for the Greys, your flight impulse is kicking in so strongly, so strongly. It's like it's only about survival in that moment. You want to just run away, and the pressure on your own psyche is intense. And we know a lot of cases, and Linda talked to me about that, because she had talked to certain people in the US intelligence, and they had Marines actually get in contact with certain beings, and they dropped, like they collapsed because of that intense pressure. So and we've seen that being true for certain other exotic technology too, where the presentation of certain exotic technology that challenged your point of reality so much was too much to handle for certain people.
Was it too much? I mean, this is you're talking about your experience. So, I mean, this does go along with my theory of when we meet the ETs, of my experience, their consciousness field is so different, it distorts our reality. And you're one of the only people to ever confirm it for me, but that was my feeling. It's so hard to stay lucid and aware within that field, because they emanate such a different frequency that lucid awareness is the practice, I think. But so was this your experience, that you started to lose a sense of yourself? And really, I feel that's where the trauma of abduction comes from. I mean, I think my feeling.
So if I want to, so for everyone at home, it's the same thing when you have someone you resonate very positively with them. Then you feel a very warm and good feeling, and you think like, oh, that's I don't know, nice photo. This is a nice moment, and you feel good. But it's the same moment when you, for example, meet the grace. It's very intensified, and your body reacts to that. And no matter how often you go into these situations, you always feel that. Only thing you can do is like train your psyche to and to calm yourself down. I always compare that to, because I've been asked that before, I compare that to roller coasters. When you there's a drop coming, and your psyche can prepare itself for that, but your body is still going to react the way. When it goes down, the body is going to feel it, and there's no way to get around that, actually. And it feels, if I want to describe that, it feels like this super intense tingling that goes around your body. It's like the most intense form of goosebumps that you can imagine, and it feels like burning. So it's not like a goosebump or something, but it feels like you want to throw up. It feels like your body is really intensively burning, and you just want to just scream and run away.
This is such an important conversation. I think this is really at the heart of the ET question, of the ET experience. This is what governments can't explain. This is what the big secret is about, is that there, and I often say, if you've ever been around a crazy person, you start to pick up and feel those crazy, or maybe a high lama, you resonate, or what you said, yes, you feel connection, because the resonance of the conscious field emanates a frequency that is so different than ours and so distorting that we go on. Most people would go unconscious. Most people would just,
yes.
So, but then you're saying, like a roller coaster, yeah, you get used, in a sense, you can train yourself. And I think someone like Whitley Strieber is probably one of the most lucid people, because he's had so many contacts, to withstand that onslaught of a shift. But will we ever reach the place where, or was it a whole human population evolution, if we're going to meet these beings on their level? What do you think?
Oh, 100%. Yes, I don't think there's a way around it, actually. And everything that we can perceive right now in the non-stream media, in the public eye, we can see that we are getting prepared for that. The reason why I can speak out right now is because I am preparing people. And the reason why you see different material from the Pentagon, different material on the main news stations, this is all preparing reality to merge with the what has been called the open system. An open system is where Earth is not isolated in itself anymore, but it opens up to any kind of different neighborhoods and neighbor realities around us. Yes, we definitely gonna see this.
Well, talk about this, because this is something I really want to understand and actually put into my next book. There's no way around, you're saying, the shock of confrontation. You're saying there's no way the human psyche can be prepared. Almost, there is a rude awakening coming. And so what do you, talk about that.
Yeah, so it depends on the specific entity that you're meeting. So the reason why I thought that the grace might be, and this is completely my own theory, because I thought about this, being involved with that so many times, I thought about why is that. And the reason I think why that is because the grace actually came to an evolutionary process or moment where they got rid of their biological bodies. So they basically decided to take their evolution into their own hands and artificially evolved from that point on. And I think because this body is an entity in itself, so I think that the body and its own intelligence is actually picking that up and becomes frightened. And even if my psyche is not frightened and I can kind of maneuver around that, my body feels like it really wants to run away. Same as probably if you compare that to a dog, for example. There's a dog that is just looking at you, and you feel this, this cuteness, this, I don't know, this feeling of I want to pet it, and it's the best friend of humans or whatever. But there are also dogs that when they look at you and they produce a certain growl or something, and you feel frightened. It might even be the same dog from time to time, but the energy that it's irradiating, that is coming from this dog, has an impact on your body reality.